I am joined today by Lauran Hahn. She's an LMHC in Orlando, Florida. Welcome.
Thank you. Hello. Thank you for having me.
It's so good to see you. I haven't seen you since, I don't know, it's been a bit.
Yes.
Lauran is a boot camper, and today we thought it'd be really good to share some encouragement for you to hear another clinician story in building a private practice, and also to hear how they're doing right now in the midst of everything that's going on in the world and how they're feeling about it. Because the more that we talk honestly and openly about this process of building a private practice, I think the more therapists will be doing it and doing it well, which is what our communities need. So Lauran, when did we first meet you? Let's start there.
2017 is when I did boot camp for the first time.
Okay. So before you did boot camp, where were you at in your private practice?
So let's see. Wait a second. When did boot camp okay, so I opened my practice in September of 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And then I immediately did boot camp. So however that time, I may be having my timeline.
So it was pretty soon after you had just started.
Yes.
And why did you go into practice?
Well, I had a baby, and I took a year off, and I moved from California to Orlando, back to my home. And I wanted the flexibility of being able to do the mom things as well as maximize myself as a therapist. And I just wanted that flexibility, really. Yeah. And I kind of always knew that I wanted to be in private practice from the beginning. So,
yeah. And when you first started out, was it what you were expecting?
So I am a worker bee. I will do all the things. And before coming into private practice, I was the program director of a treatment center. And so I am really organized and really motivated. But when I got into just starting my own business and trying to figure that out along with marketing and running a business and seeing the clients and balancing it all and being a new mom, I was completely burning out. I was trying to do too much in too short of a time. It was not sustainable, and I was working around the clock, I felt like. So
that's the thing. I'm kind of like you, and I've talked about this before about my workaholism and things. And when I've worked for someone, it sort of like sets the boundaries. But then when I am at home with a kid and family, if something happened with those boundaries, I didn't know that, I have to do it for myself now. It was because I could work. I know how to do that.
Yeah.
It was the other stuff that it took time for me to figure out what I needed. So from 2017 to, let's just talk about to now, what has been your journey?
So So boot camp helped me in a way because, like I said, I was working really, really hard. I was seeing anybody that wanted to see me, I would see. I was trying to do all the things. I've already said that. So what has changed for me in this last time frame is I have niched down into, I work with people struggling with anxiety and trauma, or like a pattern of toxic relationships. And so I've really narrowed my focus in that time, and I've narrowed the amount of time that I work, my trainings, all of that. I have done presentations in my area. I have, I feel like my answer might be really, really broad. So you may need to rein me in.
No, it's okay.
That seems to be the theme. Rein Lauran in. I feel like, I've just really niched down and become more defined in who I work with, and also known in my community too for who I work with, which has been really helpful.
Well, I think some common questions people have that they are afraid to ask is why that niche? So I'm curious how you came to find your niche.
Oh, well, I made my way to the therapist chair by way of the couch. So,
Mm-hmm.
this niche is something that anxiety and trauma is something that I've overcome. So that's how I got really interested in niching down into this area. It's where I found it was easiest for me to relate to clients and also to get the training and to do all of that. So
that's such a common, let's just say that though, that is so common, and yet we don't talk about it, because I think that is really, when you get comfortable with your own story and how it connects to what you're doing in your business, it allows you to flourish.
Yes.
I mean, once you decided on the niche, what happened in your business?
Oh, goodness. It feel like puzzle pieces clicked in. It just felt like it gave me room to breathe because I knew where I was focusing my attention. I knew where I was focusing my marketing. I knew where I was focusing my training. I knew how to talk to people when they asked me, who do I work with? It really just clicked in like puzzle pieces.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's that kind of niche, and then that also informed other things you do outside your practice, like with speaking and some writing and things like that. Yeah.
Yes, because I do a lot with blogging, and if you go back, I'll do this sometimes. I'll go back and look at the very first blog post I did, and it was so general. It really wouldn't appeal to any one person. And then as I go through the timeline of my blog post, it's all anxiety, trauma, relationships, anxiety, trauma, and relationships. So I'm definitely speaking to the people I want to work with. Yeah.
So are you cash pay or insurance?
Cash pay.
Why'd you decide to go that route?
Well, because the reimbursement rate on insurance is really low. And if I wanted to go that low, I could slide my rate that low if that was something that I wanted to do. After doing boot camp, I didn't need the referrals from insurance because that was appealing when I very first started. People who were on panels seemed to have full practices. But I figured out how to market and fill my practice with my ideal client without being on panels. And then I could charge the rate I needed to charge.
And see the amount of clients. Because I think, I don't know if people are really catching on, but you are a trauma specialist. Like, that is your jam, is trauma. And it's not like seeing 40 clients a week with that kind of trauma that you work with would be healthy for you. So it's really finding how many clients you needed to see, what that rate needed to be, if there was a panel that could do it. And if not, then forging your own path so that you could do the great work that you do.
Yes. And my full caseload is much lower than like other people's caseload, I have come to find out. So
and that's okay, because we all have different businesses. I think that's kind of what you're speaking to anyway, is like, what is the business that's right for me? How do I still have a good life without being this busy worker bee? That story doesn't fit anymore now that I have a child and those kinds of things, and learning to adapt. And I think too, when you moved, it was like a great kind of clean slate in that sense, to start with that fresh. When in boot camp, what do you feel are some things that people need but don't know that we offer? Because I think there's like, people get in boot camp and they're like, I didn't realize what this was.
Well, what was I'm about to go real broad again. Repeat the question so I can stay on.
In boot camp, what is it that you feel has been really helpful to you, but people probably don't know that's in there? that you've really kind of taken?
I think that it made me a better clinician. The thing that, because number one, you teach us to do the outcomes, to measure the outcomes. And because I'm niching down and I'm training in one area, my ability to work with this particular population, I'm getting better and better and better. And because I'm doing, I do assessments with my clients every month. And so we're looking at those outcomes together every month. And this is part of our treatment plan. They know we're doing this from the beginning. They know we're doing this at the end. And so inside all of that, I became a better therapist and my confidence grew as a therapist.
Yes.
So where I started out, like, I need to figure out how to run my business. One of the huge benefits that I came out with is I'm actually a better therapist and I have more confidence around that. So
I love that, because that is our message of like, yes, income and outcomes,
yes.
that whatever we do in our business should be to the benefit of our therapeutic relationship as well. Like they're not separate things.
Yeah.
Well, tell me how you're handling things now with the pandemic. How's it going?
So, yes, impacted. And it's interesting because I was having a conversation with my husband a couple of weeks ago. I don't know, maybe it was yesterday. Everything's kind of running together. Yeah. But about how things would be such a poop storm if I hadn't done boot camp and really done the planning, the financial planning, and all of that. So my caseload has dropped and my phone is not ringing as much. It is still ringing, but not nearly as much. And so while that does feel like unsettling and scary and there's uncertainty there, I did the financial portion of boot camp and we saved. We had a plan for a rainy day. We had, just a lot of plans in place. And so when all of this started kind of happening, we talked and I'm like, well, we've got this much in the savings account and we know how to cut here and what to do here and all of that. And so really it's just a matter of us like just we're doing those things and now I'm okay.
And I think too, that impacts like how you handle moving forward when you're fearful or things are so strained and you're not prepared. That puts even added pressure on any kind of marketing or things that you do. And Miranda and I were talking about this morning how we're noticing calls are down, but that the people who call are better fit or they're really motivated. And so conversions are starting to go back up. And also that, across the country, depending on where your state is in terms of responsiveness. Yeah, like in California, things are kind of like website volume and things are starting to go back up a little. And Florida is still, it's a little bit further behind where we were maybe a week ago or two in some ways. So it's been interesting too about how like regionally it varies. But at the end of the day, I think I love that you planned. And that's the whole point of it, is that your business, to grow a business that can sustain itself through rough times and good times. And because the work you do is so important, Lauran, and I'm glad you're able to keep your doors open. That's really important. So as you look forward to this next round of boot camp, which starts April 26th, what are you going to focus on?
So I am looking at, so I do a lot of blog writing right now, as I mentioned, and I want to look at doing a new thing, whether it's videos or doing a little bit more with social media or doing a YouTube channel or a podcast or something like that. So I'm looking at developing that arm of my marketing plan.
Cool. Well, that'll be exciting to see.
Yes.
I mean, That's the other cool part about bootcamp is we've worked with you every year since 2017.
Yes.
And gotten to know you pretty well. I love that. So if anyone's thinking about doing bootcamp and they're just not quite sure, what do you want them to know?
I would say just do it. It is, it is an investment of time and money, but it has put me in a place where I know what I'm doing. I have the confidence to know what I'm doing, and I don't have to do all of the things. And so I would, just do it. Just do it.
And then you get to meet people like Lauran and
the community. Our community is so awesome. I love our community.
Can you speak to that a little bit?
Supportive. What's that?
How has that been for you?
So, this has been, through this time, I have needed to lean on my people, which are people of bootcamp. So you and Miranda teach therapists things that are not like commonplace in my community, local community here, like the business practices and how it all aligns. So when I'm making decisions about my marketing or things like that, I need to lean on people who have a similar training, if you will, that you guys are giving. So because I don't want a knee-jerk reaction and do, just a willy-nilly thing because I'm scared or whatever. Right. So I just have found that this community has been helpful and supportive while I am navigating this, because we're all boot campers. So we're all have the same ideals that we're working from.
Right. We're all on the same page, and it is a community with its own culture. We have a saying of, I don't compete, I stand out. And that is something that we all hold to. So that way you can lean on each other. It's not just leaning on coaches. This is about a larger, bigger picture of people coming together to change the face of mental health care, pandemic or not, really. So, yeah. Lauran, thank you for sharing your story. I hope people are inspired and encouraged to know that it's a process. You will always be working on it. But when you focus on your niche, accepting your own story, you can become a better therapist through building a better business. I just love that message so much. And whether it's through our bootcamp or our free stuff, when you take care of the business aspects, you are also taking care of your clients and yourself. So thank you for sharing your story. I appreciate you so much.
Yes, thank you for having me.
All right.